Welcome to Lesson 2D, Sonic Flow and Critical Properties. In this lesson, we discuss the significance of a throat in a variable area duct flow, and then we'll discuss isentropic flow in converging ducts, and we'll define the critical or sonic properties and the characteristic Mach number. Consider steady 1D adiabatic isentropic variable area duct flow, where we had this equation from the previous lesson. Now think about what happens when the Mach number is exactly 1. When m is 1, this denominator is 0. Therefore, this equation for dv over v goes to infinity at Mach number 1, unless dA is 0. If dA is 0 here, the zeros cancel and we avoid the singularity as Mach number goes to 1. Let's rewrite this equation in terms of dA over A. dA over A is Mach number squared minus 1 times dV over V, which becomes 0 at Mach number equal 1. The conclusion from this little exercise is that dA equals 0 at Mach number equal 1. In other words, the area, and we're talking about cross-sectional area here, must be either a minimum or a maximum. Let's consider these two possibilities. Suppose we have a minimum area where Mach number is 1, and flow here is from left to right, and these are the walls of our duct. The other option is that A is a maximum, with walls like this, and again flow from left to right, and Mach number 1 at this maximum area. Let's examine both of these cases. I'll do the maximum case first. If the flow is subsonic upstream, we know that m goes down as area goes up. So if it starts below 1, it'll go even lower and cannot approach 1. This doesn't work. On the other hand, if the flow is supersonic upstream, we know from the previous lesson that m goes up as area goes up. And I forgot my word as here. Well, if Mach number is greater than 1 and it goes up as we move downstream, we can't reach m equal 1. So this one is also impossible. So the maximum case is not possible. Now consider the minimum case or the throat. We know that for a subsonic converging duct, m goes up as A goes down. So if we start at 0.5 or 0.7, it's going to increase and can reach m equal 1 at this throat. This is possible. If the flow is supersonic, we know that m goes down as area goes down. That also can reach m equal 1. So this one is possible. The conclusion is that cross-sectional area A must be a minimum in order for Mach number to equal 1 for the given problem, which is 1D isentropic adiabatic duct flow of varying area. In other words, the only way we can get Mach number equal 1 is that there must be a throat in the duct. This situation, not this one. I make one important comment here. The presence of a throat does not guarantee that m equal 1 at the throat. As we'll learn later, it depends on the back pressure, which must be low enough to accelerate the flow in the converging section to Mach number 1. But if m equal 1 somewhere in the duct, in other words, if we have a low enough back pressure to produce m equal 1, the back pressure is low enough for m to be 1 somewhere, then we can say that m equal 1 at the throat. By the way, this is true if we have only a converging duct or a converging diverging duct. If back pressure PB is low enough, the only place you can have Mach number 1 is at the throat in either of these cases. Mach number will not be 1 anywhere else in this duct. And this turns out to be true whether the flow upstream is subsonic or supersonic, since we have to have a minimum area to have Mach number equal 1. Now consider critical or sonic properties in a converging duct. Suppose we have a pressurized tank that's huge compared to this nozzle or converging duct. Far upstream we have stagnation conditions. Velocity is approximately 0. Therefore we have stagnation temperature, stagnation pressure, stagnation specific enthalpy, etc. And Mach number is approximately 0. Let's let PB equal the back pressure, and we'll consider the case where P naught is much greater than PB, enough to generate sonic conditions at the exit plane of this converging nozzle. We'll let AE equal the exit area where the flow comes out. This flow will accelerate as it comes through this diverging duct. In other words, m is increasing, and then m equal 1 at the exit plane. As a side comment here, note that we use a subscript 0 for stagnation properties. We'll use a superscript star or asterisk for sonic properties. We'll call these sonic properties critical properties, which is simply another way of saying sonic, in other words, at Mach number 1. In our example, the exit plane is the sonic condition, so we'll define T star as T at the throat where m equal 1 and a equal a star. We'll call this area up here a star. We'll refer to T star as the critical temperature. We can define other so-called critical properties, P star, rho star, A star. A star, for example, would be the square root of gamma r T star, which is the critical speed of sound. Another comment, we can define these critical properties and use them in our analysis even if they do not exist in the flow. In other words, critical pressure, critical density, critical temperature can be used in our equations even if they don't exist anywhere in the flow. Some authors also define capital M star, which they call a characteristic Mach number. M star is defined as V over A star. We don't call it a critical Mach number. The critical Mach number is 1, but this is a normal Mach number except we're using A star instead of the actual A to calculate this so-called characteristic Mach number. I usually leave this for a homework problem, so I'll just say here that it can be shown that Mach number squared for an ideal gas is 2 over the quantity gamma plus 1 over m star squared minus gamma minus 1. Thus, Mach number and characteristic Mach number are related.
What if we extend the nozzle a little bit? Would that make the flow supersonic?
Great question, Arnold. Let's discuss this scenario. In other words, what happens if we extend the nozzle? Let's look at two cases. Case A has our tank with P0, T0, etc. in the upstream tank and small enough back pressure so that we have sonic conditions at this throat with Mach number 1. Now imagine that we take this same nozzle, and I'll copy and paste it here, but we now extend it to a smaller area. This is the original A star for case A, and we keep the same upstream properties. We just added a short extension. Well, the flow will not go supersonic. In fact, what will happen is that we'll define a new A star that's smaller than the first one, and Mach number will now be 1 at this exit plane, just as it was here. Because as we've said, Mach number can be 1 only at a minimum area. So what does that imply? It implies that at this location, where the exit used to be, this has to be subsonic at that location. Comparing case A to case B directly at this point, this one is slower. In terms of mass flow rate, m dot A and m dot B, m dot A must be greater than m dot B. So by adding the extension, all we've done is move the critical or sonic location farther downstream with a smaller area, and for the same upstream conditions, we get smaller mass flow coming out. But in both cases, Mach number is 1 at the exit plane.
Thank you. That makes sense.
As a quick physical example, suppose this upstream tank is your bicycle tire. If you have a big hole in your tire, there's a lot of mass flow coming out. If you have a tiny hole in your tire, less mass flow comes out. But if this pressure is high enough compared to atmospheric pressure or back pressure, the flow will come out at sonic conditions for both cases. But you'll lose the air in your tire much faster with case A than with case B. What happens if we increase the stagnation pressure upstream? Well, in that case, m dot will increase for the same PB, the back pressure. Again, thinking about our bicycle tire, if we pump this tire up higher and then have a hole, the Mach number will still be 1, but the mass flow rate will be bigger. Of course, that's an unsteady problem. In the cases we talk about, we consider this upstream tank to be huge, so that as we're conducting our experiment, P0, T0, etc., have insignificant changes over time. at least over the time period under consideration. Either that or imagine that we continually pump up this big tank to maintain P0. In this scenario, with an increased P0, the critical conditions or critical properties, T star, P star, A star, rho star, etc., will also change. I want to emphasize something here. Namely, just because we have a throat where A is a minimum, either in a converging duct or a converging diverging duct, this does not guarantee that the flow is sonic at the throat. It turns out that the ratio between P0 and PB is what's critical. If that ratio is not large enough, you won't achieve sonic flow at the throat. In that case, you'd have subsonic flow everywhere. The ratio P0 over PB, or its reciprocal, PB over P0, is the determining factor as to whether this flow achieves sonic conditions at the throat. In the next lesson, we'll discuss this further along with the equations for an ideal gas.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos.